Imagine a world where a simple YouTube video averted a genocide by starvation of epic proportions. Millions of lives saved, all thanks to a short warning that appeared just in time. This incredible story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about everyday heroes. The country where this took place used to be a rich and prosperous democracy, but the economy had taken a sharp turn for the worse, and people had started calling the president a dictator. In street protests that had been met with deadly force, the people had left a clear message. They wanted the president gone. However, our sources claim that the dictator was himself a pawn of outside forces and that holding on to power was for him a matter of life or death. Taking advice from Russia, he implemented the same 3 laws that the Soviet Union under Stalin had done and which had led to the Holodomor in Ukraine in 1932. This targeted the entire nation for starvation and set it up for millions of deaths, just like what had happened in Ukraine. The purpose was in both cases to make the nation cease to exist. In the case of Ukraine, the Soviet Union had wanted it to become an integral part of Russia, with no independent national identity. As we know, in spite of many millions of deaths, they failed. In the case of our story, it was Cuba that wanted to destroy Venezuela as an independent nation and permanently incorporate it into Cuba, as has been revealed from secretly recorded audios. When our protagonist had found out about this, his question was how to thwart these plans, save Venezuela's independence, and save the lives of millions of people. He decided to make a small video, as best edited as he could without any pro equipment. The video was short, the script was to the point with no fluff, and the images were carefully selected to make the viewer understand the gravitas of the warning, that the regime was implementing a plan to have them starve to death if they chose to continue fighting for their freedom. We will show you the video here, as uploaded in July of 2015, and come back after it. It has been blurred in parts.
Un genocidio por hambre. Holodomor.
And again, nobody knows exactly how many people died, but we're talking about 10 million or more.
Los puntos claves fueron prohibido transportar comida para asegurar que las zonas en peligro de rebelión no tendrían comida. Confiscar la comida que tenían los campesinos. Y después una distribución selectiva a los que estaban con la revolución. Y los otros no le dieron nada. Ellos murieron de hambre. Ahora, eso está siendo ejecutado en Venezuela por Nicolás Maduro ahora en julio 2015. Ya desde tiempo queda prohibido transportar comida en Venezuela. Desde una semana más o menos, salió un decreto que iban a confiscar la comida de las empresas privadas. Y también está ejecutado e implementado la distribución selectiva. Venden paquetes de comida a los empleados públicos y otros que están con la revolución para que el ciudadano común que no tiene vínculos con la revolución no reciba comida. El Holodomor en Venezuela está siendo implementado por Nicolás Maduro.
As you have seen, he exposed the plans with reference to concrete laws. The people were already familiar with those laws, but what he accomplished was to connect the dots and reveal what the intended outcome was. He also exported the video in a format suitable for spreading from person to person in chat messages. It went viral. In fact, it went viral 3 separate times. The true reach is impossible to measure, but the views where re-uploaded online went into the millions. Thanks to the video, people started to pay attention, and a secret audio recording was soon leaked in which a regime activist said the silent part out loud, that all food would be withheld from his region until the protests against the government had ceased. In spite of their plans having been exposed, the regime persisted. They withheld not just food, but also essential medicines. They banned doctors from writing malnourishment as cause of death on death certificates, and they banned hospitals from creating statistics of how many had died from lack of food. However, our protagonist managed to find clandestine statistics by cooperating with the Venezuelan resistance movement. Based on that, he calculated in early 2018 that hundreds of thousands of children had already starved to death. Mostly very young children. They also made a poll of how much food people had access to and how much they had already lost in weight. Consulting with a medical expert, they estimated that within 18 months, 5 million persons of all ages would starve to death if nothing changed. He knew that the Venezuelan people wanted to keep fighting for freedom, but the paper in his hand said that millions of them would die if they did so. And there was no guarantee that they would win. So he told them, nobody expects you to give your life for freedom. If you can't find enough food, feel free to leave, to live, and to fight another day. Within those 18 months, 5 million had already left, most of them walking out to Colombia, some even without shoes. They became known in South America as the Walkers. Today, they are 8 millions, almost 1/3 of the population. They are in all parts of the world, and they are alive. Perhaps thanks, in part, to a little video on YouTube. Meanwhile, thanks to the Venezuelan Holodomor having been largely thwarted, it is not recognized as a genocide. This is in spite of the fact that the former Attorney General of Venezuela, Luisa Ortega Diaz, denounced in 2018 that, quote, "There is a genocide, a deliberate plan by Maduro to exterminate the population, and those who do not submit, do not subordinate themselves. They persecute, they annihilate, or force them to leave the country." End quote. Even a thwarted genocide is a genocide. Those who fled effectively became victims of ethnic cleansing instead. The goal of destroying the nation of a free and sovereign Venezuelan people was accomplished regardless of whether they submitted, died, or fled. That said, the little video may have helped shape the outcome towards more of them fleeing rather than dying, and that means that they one day may come home again, provided, that is, that the regime falls. Finally, I will leave you with a thought. Could a simple viral warning truly be the difference between oblivion and survival? Please share your thought in the comments. Until next time, good night.